You know that feeling when you feel so alone, you don't feel like you have a support system, you don't feel like you have a friend, you don't feel like you have family, you don't feel like even when you do have all of these people around you, you feel so unsupported and totally alone. Now, if you're one of those people who've been experiencing a spiritual awakening and you find yourself thrust into moments of being alone, and not just moments turning into that you're pretty much alone, especially when there are times when you could do with somebody, you could do with a form of a coping mechanism. Now, some of you might find that during the thrust of a spiritual awakening, without any happening of any sort, without any apparent reason, people will start falling away from your life. You might have amazing relationships, amazing friendships, and suddenly these people will disappear, or you might on your own suddenly just drop and disappear. Now, a lot of the times, one of the reasons why this sort of sudden disappearing is happening, and that a form of being alone is really imposed on you, it's almost like somebody else is controlling who is in and out of your life. It feels as if your life is out of control and that it's meant to be the way it is at the moment, when suddenly you just have no support system. Now, why does this happen? So one of the reasons why this happens is naturally when you're going through a spiritual awakening, because of your paradigm shift of consciousness, because you are now vibrating at a different level, and because you've got work to do, and that work, a lot of that work simply involves you accepting everything as it is. And the biggest tenet of a spiritual awakening is you embracing the aloneness. Now, in the aloneness, remember, it's not in the aloneness that is a coping mechanism to prevent yourself from getting involved, getting engaged with others, with life, to avoid getting hurt, to avoid getting let down. No, but to become not just comfortable in that aloneness, but most essentially is when during this aloneness you experience heartache, you experience things that disturb the balance, you experience emotional dysregulation. Emotional dysregulation will come about for various reasons, but it will come in a way that it always has done. And what I mean by that is how you reacted emotionally before and how you react to it will be amplified right now in your spiritual awakening. So not only will you be more aware, but you'll be more sensitive and you'll feel more raw. Now, this is when there is no coping mechanism. So if you were somebody who drank alcohol, guess what? You can't rely on that anymore. If you were somebody who decided to have a puff whenever things were getting really tough, guess what? That isn't there. If you were someone who called a friend, had a helpline, guess what? That's not there. Anything that you relied on as a coping mechanism is simply not there anymore. Now, that's the good news. Yeah. Even when it feels like you're so raw and you think that, oh my God, can somebody please shut this down? I don't want to go through this, right? You are in the pits. You are really suffering inside of yourself. And this is when so many of us will crave our vibe tribe. We will crave having authentic people around us, and what we are really craving is for emotional regulation, is for that helpline. Call a friend, is that helpline when you really need it. And even if it means going out for some drumming together, going out for a shamanic healing journey, going out for a Reiki healing energy session, going out for a yoga class together, right? Because remember, although you may not be doing the same things that you were doing before, you are still doing something. even if it is yoga, even if it is any of these other things, because they are tools. Yes, they are tools with maybe no side effect except for one, which is the codependency, right? Now imagine you don't have any of these coping mechanisms. You are in a cave. And this is why a lot of people did go into caves traditionally, or not traditionally, but they still do. They will disappear. Right now, when you have nothing and nobody to depend on, not a single tool, no coping mechanism. So what do you do without zero coping mechanism? The process, when it starts, you are in despair, you are in distress, right? You are all over the place. But once you've finished grieving, once you've completed the cycle of crying, tears, and they may come again, you will find that something very magical happens. And that magical thing that happens is literally you step in, you show up, and you decide that you are the coping mechanism, right? So you then decide to be the one that you're going to depend on. For some, now this is where the tricky part is. Now this is where for some, we start to hide in our cave and then we don't want to engage. But remember, we need to get out of that as well, because it cannot be used as a coping mechanism so that we just shy away from life altogether. So this is the moment when you've gone through all of that and you have come to a point where you say, wow, it is now that I can really see myself for what I am. I can see myself bare. I can actually see. And now when you can see and when you're becoming aware of yourself and you think, wow, so this is why I wanted to rely on this, and you understand the dynamics of you in emotionally dysregulated states. And once you've managed to regulate yourself, it is very, very empowering. Remember, you're regulating yourself not by escaping the feeling. You're not escaping the emotion. You're not escaping the pain. You're not hiding from it. You're not disassociating with it. You're coming head on. And this is where the crying, the grieving, the literally being in the doldrums, if it means that you hide out, if it means that you're on the couch, if it means, whatever, but you've shut down. That shutdown is absolutely vital. When you're able to shut down, this is why a lot of my clients will ask me, for exercises or guidance. And most of the time, the number one guidance I give to people most of the time is sit in a dark room for 11 minutes every day. Come rain, come shine. It will start to irritate you initially because of the novelty. You might really want to do it, but give it a few days, it'll start to bug you. And it's when it starts to bug you that you really need to carry on with this. And so folks, in your aloneness is when you are going to find your inner strength, your inner core, your resilience. Now, once you've gotten to that point and you've accepted at this point, now whatever happens that is seemingly negative will always be for me. It will always work out for me. Now, when you have that, you automatically transmute that energy and change it into something that's going to become a possibility. And possibility is infinite. And you'll be able to change it into a possibility that brings to you something that is for your highest good. Something that is going to turn into something transformative, something very exciting, and something most importantly that is going to be more life enhancing and eking out creative potential in you. Lots of love as always. Please like, share, follow, and don't forget to hone into you, because you matter.